Volunteers are the engine behind everything that SnowCap does. The work that we do, it would not be possible without volunteers. Everything that happens here at SnowCap, chances are a volunteer did it. Volunteers of all ages and all backgrounds come to SnowCap. Folks do what they're able to do, which means that we have a variety of abilities. We have some folks with significant disabilities that come and volunteer. We also have people who are working, and it's hard for them to imagine finding time to volunteer, but we really work with individuals to make it happen for them. If you have a heart for service, then we have a place for you. If that's once a week, once a month, or once a year, we'd love to have you serve. We also have lots of groups of children come with their parents to really get a good start on what it means to give back. And it's really important to us that anyone who wants to help and wants to be part of this community of caring has the opportunity to do that.
There is springtime in my soul today, for when my Lord is near, the dove sings in my heart, the flowers of grace appear. There's sunshine, blessed sunshine, where the peaceful happy moments roll. When Jesus shows his smiling face, there's sunshine in my soul. There is gladness in my soul today, and hope and praise and love, for blessings which he gives me now, for joys laid up above. There's sunshine, blessed sunshine, where the peaceful, happy moments roll. When Jesus shows his smiling face, there's sunshine in my soul.
In the mid-1960s, the basic life needs of many in East Multnomah County were not being met by any agency or organization. For those in need, when the cupboards were bare, many would make trips to area churches in an attempt to find food. And because of their faith, 27 area churches, including Peace Church of the Brethren, stepped in to help make a difference for so many residents. And on January 16th, 1967, SnowCap, Suburban Neighborhoods Operation Witness Community Action Program, was born. Hello, this is Ed Groff, and welcome to Brethren Voices. I always thought it had something to do with Mount Hood, that beautiful mountain to the east. The purpose of SnowCap was to discover the real needs in the area and to assist residents, churches, community leaders to meet the needs of individuals cooperatively. The organization adopted a philosophy that SnowCap will cross lines of race, religion, national origin, and economic status, hoping to coordinate a plan to serve the food needs of the community. Originally, there were 3 centers that were set up, but in 1968, the 3 centers merged and was headquartered at Savage Memorial Presbyterian Church near David Douglas High School.
The SnowCap was begun by a small group of churches here in East County in the 60s, and it was part of a community action program.
And this was back when the war on poverty was going on, and the community action part of it represented advocacy. A lot of the pastors were really concerned because they had people coming to their doors of the church, knocking on the door of the church and asking for help. And the pastors ended up feeling like they wanted to help, but they didn't know how to do it.
The strength of what we can do for the community, and one church can't do it all, but a number of congregations together taking care of the poor, one of the things that we know all about.
50 years ago, those group of churches realized that the community had a problem. It had people who had needs that were going unmet. And so then they came up with this model of serving people in need through a cooperative effort.
We started out in the basement of Savage Memorial Presbyterian, and we needed space for food. So I talked to Jim Liefeld of Gethsemane, and he allowed us to put some food in one of his Sunday school rooms, and then we broke the beam. So then we moved the food out to Gresham United Methodist, put it in their basement, which was a nice concrete floor. The weight of the food actually sunk that concrete floor.
For the food program, we had a big board, and there was a basement window that we'd open up, and they'd drop the food from the truck outside down the board, and come, here comes Charlie, and down goes the box, and the guys down below would catch it.
So we really needed a building, and then as it worked out, we got some surprise funding in, so we started building the building. Judy and I knew nothing about building buildings, but Sam Walsborn, Earl Balzer, and many, many other wonderful volunteers helped us with that.
The basement facility of Savage Memorial Presbyterian Church was quite small, and SnowCap's executive director, Kirsten Wageman, shares with us the rest of the story.
So in the late 90s, we moved to our existing location in Rockwood, thanks to the help of Rockwood United Methodist Church at the time. And we became a really broad-based social service agency that provides direct hunger relief, direct relief from lots of things that folks are experiencing. And we do that with the help of oftentimes up to 1,000 volunteers in a year come and make this work possible. And when we talk about the work, that's the idea of making sure that everyone has groceries. We are not a soup kitchen, but we're a place to get groceries, a place where moms and dads and families can come to get what they need to create meals for their family. Other aspects of the food program, we offer more than groceries as well. We offer a community garden that I know BVSers have helped us with, where people can grow their own fruits and vegetables to help them become more sustainable. And we also offer things like utility assistance, hygiene items. During the pandemic, we've offered masks and cleaning supplies, all different manner of items, as well as clothing. The pandemic has been a huge eye-opener for SnowCap, as it has for the whole world. We realized that what we thought we couldn't change, we had to change. And so where formerly it had been clients could come with the help of one of our volunteer personal shoppers and fill their cart with foods that their family would like to eat. But when it became unsafe, not only for our clients to enter the building, but for most of our volunteers that are oftentimes, our current volunteers range in age, the majority from 60 to 95 years old. And of course, COVID-19 was particularly dangerous for our volunteers. So we went back to a system of food boxes where we provide as much choice as possible. Families come up to a window, a walk-up window, instead of being welcomed inside the building right now.
Any people who are needy and are hungry and need food that they can't afford or that don't have the money for, they come here and get whatever they want. Okay, yeah, so here we are going to pack the A and B bags. On the left side are the B bags, and on the right side are the A bags. And yeah, so the B bags are more like canned food, and the A bags are more like rice, noodles, and stuff like that. So we always see like numbers that say how many cans go in one box, and and after that we put those filled bags in the shopping carts and give them out to the people.
Volunteers are the engine behind everything that SnowCap does, and during COVID it became very unsafe and impossible to have them be able to come and serve. So While currently 2 years in, we're able to have a lot more volunteers than we used to have during the height of the pandemic. It's really been a challenge for volunteers to safely join us. So having BVSers return, our brethren volunteers that are here every day, has been a huge improvement to what it was like living without them during COVID. It was very difficult.
The work of SnowCap would not happen without a wide range of community involvement and support. It happens in various ways, both financially combined with contributions of food, clothing, and supplies. We met with Terry Card, who has been a volunteer at SnowCap for 10 years.
Hi, I'm Terry, and I'm a SnowCap volunteer. And here, I'll just explain really quick, we're sitting in the book section. People donate all sorts of books, and we have a wonderful lady that comes in every week and organizes it. And out where the clients pick up their food, we have carts of books that they can pick for themselves and for their children. I've been a volunteer here at SnowCap for 10 years. My husband and I started delivering boxes to those that are homebound. So we wanted to get our feet a little bit wet and see exactly what SnowCap was like. And then my husband started picking up food from grocery stores that they do every week. And I thought, well, he's going in there, I'm going to come. So I started working here once a week. But originally, how we heard about SnowCap is the church that we used to attend came here for a service project. And I remember we were in the room over there bagging up onions. So when my husband and I, he had retired, and we were just sitting around thinking, we've got to do something with our lives. We want to give back to the community. So once we had heard about SnowCap, since we had worked here, that's how we began our journey of volunteering here. And now we both work twice a week. On Tuesdays we come in and we sort hygiene products, bag up dog foods, cat foods, bag up groceries, whatever's needed. And on Thursdays, we have a pantry that serves clients. They come to the window and then we deliver baskets of food for them. And what we do there is we bag up the food in grocery bags and take the carts out to them. And we do that, I do that once a week. My husband's on the board here. We ended up working with Back to School. They used to have a fabulous program that before COVID, they would come in here and shop clothes for school, but of course because of COVID, they had to close that program. So now what we do is we have a huge event 2 days a week during school that we provide jeans and clothing, back to school items. And so my husband and I kind of are in charge of getting all the jeans organized.
So I'm Jim Card. I've been volunteering here at SnowCap for around 10 years now. And when my wife and I retired, we kind of floundered trying to figure out what to do with our life's purpose, you know, after retirement. And we grew more and more involved here at SnowCap, and it's just given us real purpose because there's such a great need in the community here for food, for clothing, for assistance. And one of the things that we get here at SnowCap is Dave's Killer Bread. They donate, gosh, between 1,200, 1,600 loaves a week to SnowCap. And the great thing about Dave's now is that they've combined with other manufacturers. So there'll be Wonder Bread, hot dog buns, hamburger buns, a lot of variety, because not everybody likes, you know, healthy, good bread. They like white bread too. And we also get bread from grocery stores. We get it from Panera, which is, you know, really nice day-old bread, and it's still very fresh. Hot dog buns, like I mentioned. So people get a variety of breads, and along with milk, eggs, butter, basics that they use, and always fresh meat. Just the other day we were giving away whole turkeys. So it all depends on what's coming in and fresh from the stores. So, and if people are on foot, they don't have a car, we give them lunch meats, we give them things that they can carry around in bags, or else they get a full cart of groceries if they need it. There's such a huge need out there in the community right now. People, you know, the cost of living these days, people can't keep up with rent, bills, and everything else. You know, families that used to, the ratio's off, you know, and so they're hungry. People need some assistance. They need maybe some clothing for their kids for back to school, and the appreciation that people show is incredible. You know, I think it makes you feel good. And we live in the community, and it was very important to us when we retired that we would give back to the community that we live in. My wife grew up 5 blocks away from here. So it's, as we've seen the needs grow in the community, this is where we want to give back.
SnowCap's oftentimes known for our largest program, which has always been the pantry. Our clothing program has been part of our work since the beginning, but oftentimes folks don't hear as much about that. So when people donate their clothing that's gently used, still has some wear in it, then we give that clothing directly to people. So we have a group of volunteers that sort all of those items that come in, they hang them up, and then our clients come and shop for what they need. Because of COVID, we had already known that our space was too tight, but COVID made it impossible to be able to invite the volume of people in, or any people at all. And so knowing that we have already begun a capital campaign for a second facility to house our clothing program. And the reason for that is that while there are many organizations that do great work, including SnowCap, especially with hunger relief, clothing is an unmet need in our area. We know that SnowCap is the only large 5-day-a-week operation where free clothing is given directly to anyone who asks for it. There are other clothing programs that are population specific, so a certain school might have a clothing closet for their students, but that leaves a lot of people out. And so during the pandemic, it was sort of interesting at the beginning when we closed our clothing program and kind of pushed pause. We saw children all summer long in 2020 that their pants kept getting shorter, and they'd come in and their shoes didn't fit, and there was a real concern that we were not providing the kind of care that we know SnowCap can provide in the form of clothing for growing kids, people who were working, looking for work, threadbare clothes, all manner of that. And so we have, as we work on fundraising to build our second facility nearby with land from our friends at Covenant Presbyterian. We never thought we would outgrow our current facility, but we have outgrown our current facility. And so we have plans underway for a second facility that will create an additional warehouse, house all of our clothing program, have a fellowship hall, a community room for classes and celebration, and give our clients more access to free clothing. And the community has clothing to give us. We have the people who need clothing, and we need a facility with space to give it away. And so we are currently, we have the plans drawn, we've gone through our land use process, and are about to enter the permit stage. We could break ground if finances allowed as early as August of 2022. Knock on wood, that changes from time to time, and we hope it will only take around 8 months to build. At that time, once we move in there, we will operate 2 facilities. We'll have our main location in Rockwood, where all the donations will still come and our food pantry will be, but we'll have more room for our food pantry to distribute more food, and our clients will have access to more clothing. So it will be a win-win, but a change for us. It's been many years since we've operated 2 sites, but our community has unmet needs, and SnowCap is ready to meet those needs.
Until that new facility is built, SnowCap is using Gresham Station as a place where families can receive clothing to meet their needs.
We are located at Gresham Station as a temporary space where we can open a couple days a week and really start serving our neighbors with the clothing that they need. And also people who want to donate clothing, they now can bring it to SnowCap and know that it's going to be given directly to a person. And that means a lot to our donors and to SnowCap.
For over 10 years, Peace Church of the Brethren has provided SnowCap with volunteers from Brethren Volunteer Service who serve a year at SnowCap. And currently, Johannes Stitz and Florian Wessler from Germany are providing service. We asked Kirsten about their involvement.
They are just lovely. We are so grateful. And during the pandemic, we went without BVS volunteers, and it felt so quiet. These two young people from Germany were exactly the right volunteers to come to SnowCap right now. They not only get along well with each other as lifelong friends, but they really they just inject a lot of life and levity and different ideas and are just a pleasure to have. It makes a huge difference just from a business standpoint in having these volunteers that are strong and they're trained in lots of different areas, so that if one of our staff people is out for the day or an event happens, it just helps us to know that our clients will be served well by these volunteers who are trained just as well as any staff member, and they make our work better. They really do. And it's just a pleasure to be able to host them, and we appreciate the support from the local congregation who's really helping it happen. We just want to, SnowCap just really wants to thank Peace Church of the Brethren, because this partnership that we have supporting the volunteers being able to come and serve, we hope that it's mutually beneficial, but it wouldn't happen without the church, first of all. But the enthusiasm that the congregation has, not only to support and say, yes, we encourage this program to continue, but it feels like the congregation understands the magic of these volunteers. It warms our heart when we hear about the different places that the volunteers who are visiting us get to experience, all of the new friendships that they make. And I know that they grow in their faith journey as well. And that is, it's just beautiful to see folks come in that are maybe kind of timid, they've not done this work, they're very young, and just watch them grow and blossom. And the connections that we make, we figure we've had at least 10 BVS volunteers over the years, and we're in contact with most all of them. We hear from them, they send us postcards, and all of them will tell us even 10 years later that this was an experience that changed their life or that set them on a path to do other things and to be better people, be better citizens, be better contributors. And it's a way that young people get an experience and responsibility in sort of a controlled environment, but are treated just like any staff person would be. And we hope that sending them back into the world when they're done at SnowCap makes the world a little bit better.
SnowCap is supported financially by the community in so many different ways. They will accept your vehicle, working or not. During gardening season, produce from the garden is so appreciated, as well as grocery items and clothing. Scott Bringhurst shared with us another way which supports the outreach of SnowCap.
So what's one of the things you don't like doing at home? I know I don't like recycling cans. Oregon's can law, it is great for the environment, but it's a pain in the butt. Well, over the last couple of years with COVID, people have found a better way to get rid of these things that are worth a dime a piece. They bring them to SnowCap. With all these that we get in on a daily basis, we average between $2,000 and $3,000 a month in checks coming back in redemptions. That is an amazing amount of money to put to our bottom line to help those in need in the area that we serve. One of the things when I retired after 42 years with the local company was I wanted to find something to give back to the community. wanted to give some time back to the community because they've been very good to us. I learned about SnowCap through my wife, come over and met with some people, interviewed with them to find out what they would like me to do as a volunteer, and it sounded intriguing. After the first couple of weeks, I was hooked. To see the smiles on the young kids' faces when they come in and get something, a treat, a book, something that they want, and at the time clothing, when we were open prior to COVID for clothing, was amazing to see the smiles on these young kids' faces. It makes every single minute of your time worth value here. It's also been very good for me. You know, during COVID, a lot of people ended up sitting at home and not doing much, and that's hard for me to do. I ended up having the opportunity to spend more time here at SnowCap during those first many months of COVID, and it probably saved my life as well as my marriage. My wife would tell you it got me out of the house enough that we weren't after each other. But it's great. But it really does come back down to those that we serve here that are in need, and it's just an amazing feeling to see their smiles when they leave here with nourishment, with clothing, with entertainment, whatever it is that we have to give to them.
This is Ed Groff, thanking you for joining us on Brethren Voices. And we wish you peace, one person at a time, in a world that is so much needing peace.
There is gladness in my soul today, and hope and praise and love for blessings which He gives me now, for joys laid up above. There's sunshine, blessed sunshine, where the peaceful, happy moments roll, when Jesus shows His smiling face. There's sunshine in my soul. There is music in my soul today, a carol to my King, and Jesus listening can hear the songs I just can't sing. There's sunshine, blessed sunshine, where the peaceful, happy moments grow, when Jesus shows His smiling face. There is sunshine